Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ & Sons in our NCAA coaching dynasty as we have reached the offseason following our big time win over Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl. Now we have players leaving primarily for the draft and graduating. We did have a couple transfers that I wanted to see if they would stick around, but you know, some of these kids, once they make their mind up, hey, they're gone. So be it. It is what it is. We are going to get set here through the offseason. No, I did not go into the coaching carousel. I do think there's more work to be done as far as winning the Big Ten. We've definitely got the capability to do that. It's whether or not we're going to be able to actually follow through. So here we come up to our last bit of recruiting. Now, we don't have that many more scholarships to go over. Right now, we're looking at a couple of different guys. Ryan George, 77 overall cornerback. We are in a battle with two schools for him. He's going to be tough to get, right? He just is. But it's something that we might want to have to look at trying to pull off, for the just in case. And if we can get someone like him, well, actually, as I look at it, no scholarships remaining. Okay, my mistake. We had grabbed a couple. We had at least one more, but no, we do not. Our class overall is not bad. I do think the 77 overall cornerback would have definitely helped, but hey, it is what it is. Right now, it's not too bad at all with who we do have as we just get everybody else out of here. We can't keep you. No point in even trying. Travis Porter's got a lot of potential being a 64 overall athlete. On the offensive line, Joel Ball there. He's a 66 overall tackle, 3-star recruit, someone that I think can do pretty well for us. I'm not sure off the bat, like starting out, but he's got definite potential. Quarterback spot, we are getting ourselves set up for, I think, fairly well. A couple of 3-star recruits. Yes, I know, 62 overall. They've got room, but they are 3-star, so I definitely think they'll do more and become a lot more. Running back, we're pretty well covered with a couple balanced guys that should be able to follow up everything that we did in the last season and kind of what we're hoping to do in this next season with our running game. Now, did go ahead and get a fullback, mainly just because I like fullbacks. They are necessary in the goal-to-go types of situation. Wide receivers where we have a little something to gain, right? We got a couple of 3-star guys, so don't get me wrong. And some of them have a lot of speed. Blake Cronin right there is at a 93 overall speed, which I just absolutely love that in a receiver. They do have some downsides, other areas. And they're not, like I said, the highest rated, but I do think for what we go for at Northwestern, those are pretty good steals. Pretty good guys to snag, right? I think they'll be able to play a vital role. Like I said, Joel Ball, 66 overall tackle. He is going to be one of our top recruits and probably getting ready to start on the line soon, along with Jonas Simmons here coming off a 69 overall guard, someone that we can really use. Now, our defensive line, I didn't get to see them all that much, except for, of course, against USC and Baylor. They've got potential. Really, our linebacker core is where we are kind of most stacked at. So they kind of help anchor that front seven. And the defensive backfield, I think we're pretty well covered. We got a lot of young talent there right now as it is. So we are good to go, I think. And we do come in with a top 25 class coming in at number 24, which is actually fairly impressive for having 0 5-stars and 0 4-star recruits. So we've definitely got growth, but to reach into the top 25, which is where we haven't been in a long, long time when it comes to recruiting at Northwestern, right? So I think we're building this team up. And keep in mind, I say building, we're just the offensive coordinator, but we're putting us in a good spot, right? That's really the biggest thing to do, that we're able to do, is put us into that big spot that we got. And if you look right here, we got a lot of quarterbacks available to us right now. Some good leadership with Sullivan taking the reins for this season at a 77 overall, which you say, okay, well, that's not that great, but it's the best that we do have by far. Cam Porter will be our starting running back this year. Gill is going to be our primary receiver, being the senior. and the leader for that wideout group. We've got talent on the offensive side. And as far as the offensive line, I think we're fairly well set up. It's got to obviously be some little lagging spots, especially in that right tackle right there. But we kind of know that going forward, and the way our gameplay style is, we shouldn't see a whole lot of breakdowns in the offensive line, because a lot of what we do is we do get the ball out very quickly. And if we're not doing that, we're generally going to be on the move. So I'm not too stressed about that kind of thing. And overall, I think we really are ready to make that next step. Now, we do have Travis Porter. Where are we going to put him at? He does look best in an offensive line position. A center puts him at a 71 overall. That's a pretty good spot for him to be at. And if you look, that sends him automatically to the front of the line as our starting center. So we are going to keep him there. And that's something I think we can really work with. Someone who's already that highly developed coming in as an labeled as an athlete when it comes to a freshman. Like I said, Sullivan is going to be our starter after the training results. He's boosted up into the 80s. Jacob Gill will be playing a primary role this upcoming season for us from that wide out spot. He is going to draw a lot of attention, right? So those other receivers that are on our board, they're going to have to also step up to make plays. When you have a primary guy that's fast, got good hands like Gill, they're going to step up. And they're going to start, defenses are definitely going to take notice, and they're going to put a lot of coverage on him. So it's going to be kind of an interesting thing to see how this next season shapes out for us. We did a great job this last year. Made it to the Big Ten title game. Yeah, we had the early loss early in the season, and then a complete disaster against Nebraska. And then USC just dominated us all the way through. That's all you can really say in the Big Ten title game. They just dominated everything that we had going. So it's one of those, hey, that's a learning game. Yeah, obviously we still have a place to develop, but we put ourselves in the top spot. We had a lot of big wins too. Winning on the road in the big house against Michigan, that was major. Beating Penn State, another massive major win for us. And then going into that bowl game against Baylor and actually taking out the Bears. That's something that not a whole lot of people picked for us to do. Lee Corso even picked that Baylor would end up winning that game, which obviously he was wrong. I mean, yeah, sure, it took a comeback to go ahead and finish him off. It took a major comeback. All right, I'll admit that. But hey, that shows the kind of grit this team's got. And these leaders, these seniors, sophomores, juniors, these, I guess you consider sophomore upperclassmen, but these non-freshman players have all been through that. They've been able to feel and taste success, but they've also been a little bit humbled, right? They got themselves humbled a wee bit at the end of the season by USC. So it's one of those things, it is what it is. Now, we are going to take a look at the conferences. They do kind of need to be leveled off some here. With the changes that have been happening, I've been trying to keep up with these things so we can add these teams in. Now, one thing that you see a lot with the SEC now, and I think even the Big Ten going forward, is they're not going to have divisions. But in this game, you have to have divisions. So we try to make it as regional as possible. And then you'll notice Oregon, Washington are still in the Pac-12. Same thing with Stanford and Cal. Mainly because, one, you can't move them out. You can only have a bare minimum number of teams in a conference, firstly. Secondly, you can only have a maximum number of teams within a conference, which is 16. They'd be especially Oregon and Washington would go to the Big Ten, which gives them like 18 teams, for God's sakes. But they're not allowed, so they're staying there. I do end up moving some teams into the Pac-12, something I figured they probably should have done once their whole conference started to collapse, which was basically make a deal with a Mountain West, right? Make a deal with a Mountain West that Mountain West will dissolve itself into the Pac-12. is really what they should. Technically, is what they should do. Right? One, that might get some of those schools a little bit more money. For one. Two, it would have saved your conference. What are they going to end up doing now? I have no damned idea. I don't know if anybody said what the Pac-12 is doing. Are they just going to rock with Oregon State and who's it, Washington State? You know, is that what they're going to do? I don't know. I really don't. It seems like that's kind of where everything's headed, but you can't have a conference with just two teams in it. So, in reality, that's what should happen. Now, the Mountain West is probably holding all the cards on their table saying, no, y'all come to us. But Mountain West will never be technically even recognized as a Power 5 based off the name. But Pac-12 at least has the name recognition as a Power 5 conference, right? They at least got that. So, it's one of those things that kind of is what it is. Now, you saw how our conference was set up in the Big Ten. So, I think we got a pretty good hold on it. I wished we could either get rid of conferences or had a little bit more of a say within conference play. But once again, when this game was made, the idea of what's happening in this day and age, at least to the scale, wasn't really envisioned. So, yeah, you can move conferences. They had that, but they didn't have it to where you could just grow these, basically have these super conferences. Without divisions. That wasn't in the game plan. So now we are getting set up for the next season. Looking at some guys, we got a red shirt. Obviously, I'm pretty much going to only redshirt freshmen. Generally those that I want to see develop a little bit more before they hit the field, like JT Horn. He's got only an 80 speed. Moore is 84. When you start looking, they both have some positives and they both have some negatives on their side. Like they pretty much counter each other either way, and so it's just kind of pick one of the freshmen, let them redshirt, so that way we can, build this team up for years to come. Center, we got Porter. I did not move Porter into the redshirt round. Thought about it, but just couldn't pull the trigger on it. He's an athlete overall. I think I need him available, if anything, to help out with development. For him, I think he'll get more development being available than he will, as a redshirt. So let's go ahead and set up our recruiting board. This is where things, I don't want to say get intense, but it's really where we kind of need to kind of set the game plan for the future of our team, right? So first, we're taking a look at what is it that we need. And that's just my first thing. And I always like to look at the interest. And the fact we got some 4-star and 3-star prospects that have us as their primary interest in it, that's something that's kind of impressive. Now, a 3-star that has us 4th, that's kind of my limit, where I'll go. 2-star with it being the 4th and middle linebacker. I'm going to keep him just because Davenport, just because we need to have that spot filled right there. But I kind of try to make sure we're either 3rd or 4th. I don't really like going after any 5th ranked people. You know what I mean? Us being in the 5th on their board isn't going to lead to much. And I got a 5-star wide receiver that's got us at 1st. Yes, you're damn right. We're picking him up. I do like to go with people that we are 1st on the board as we go down. Normally we'll stop at around the 2-star realm before we take on to the 2nd interest. Mainly just because 2-stars, I don't want them unless I have to take them. If it's at a point where we really got to fill a need, okay, then take your 2-star athlete. Do what you got to do. So here we come to our schedule. Now, they have our strength of schedule as a C- right now. But one of the things I definitely want to do is the game against Baylor was a fantastic game, right? It just was. How the hell is Oregon State number 2 and Alabama 12? Oh, well. Questions don't need to ask. It's a video game. But the game against Baylor was fantastic. So I am going to set us up with a game to start out the season. We're having ourselves a rematch, and I am going to have it be I'm going to look to have it be a neutral site kind of field. Those, I think, start out the game better. They really and truly, in the real world at least, get your team some more eyes on your team. and that's what I've been wanting to do with this set of guys. So we are going to put ourselves in the Texas kickoff game against Baylor to start the season. Now, as we come through the schedule planning, I do just want to remind y'all to hit the subscribe button if you have not hit it already. And if you do like today's video, you're excited about Season 2 here with Northwestern, give us a thumbs up. And it definitely does help out the channel, and I truly do greatly appreciate everything y'all have done for us here at Champ & Sons. We now got over 400 subscribers, 405 as of this morning. I don't think anyone's dropped off yet, but 405. Thank y'all very much. That is crazy for me to even think about because I never thought that would truly happen with us. But thank y'all for all the support. I'm incredibly grateful for it. And hit that bell notification icon so you can be notified of all of our uploads. Now, I did make the game at Notre Dame again, mainly because I wanted to have a home and home against Notre Dame, and I forgot that we played at their home last time. It wasn't until after I set the schedule that it dawned on me that we had played at Notre Dame last time, so whoopsie. On that, we got a pretty good schedule coming up. I think it's going to be kind of tough for us again. Penn State. Now, we're not playing any of the Ohio States or anybody like that, but there's some catch games. Nebraska always. Rutgers in reality is a catch game. Penn State, we're going to be the underdogs on the road at Happy Valley. So it is what it is. It's going to be a tough season. Now that we do have that set, we're going to go ahead and get ready for it. And guys, I'm going to see y'all in the kickoff game against Baylor as we get the next season underway in the next episode, everybody. So as always, stay safe. And well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.